When disaster strikes, do you run or do you stay? Bugging out versus bugging in is the most important preparedness decision you'll ever make. And it's not as simple as it sounds.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Condition Ready, where we break down real-world scenarios with practical preparedness. Today we're answering one of your biggest questions: should I bug in or should I bug out? We'll cover what each one means, the pros and cons, real-world examples, and a decision-making framework that you can apply to your family situation. By the end of this video, you'll know how to prepare for both options, so no matter what happens, you'll be condition ready. Bugging out means leaving your home and heading to a safer place. For some, that's a family farm. For others, it's a campsite or a friend's house out of town. We ask ourselves, why do we need to bug out? Well, we need to bug out for natural disasters, hurricanes, floods, which we've seen a lot of this year, or overall, when staying could be fatal. Is there human threats? What, riots, civil unrest, or chemical spills? We've seen that in the past. Or is there an infrastructure collapse when water, power, or other services won't recover quickly? Let's look at the hard truth of, especially right now, bugging out. When bugging out, you can only carry what fits in a vehicle or a bag. Roads might be jammed. When bugging out, you might hit gridlock. Remember Hurricane Katrina or any other hurricanes recently? That's the reality. Weather can work against you, like hiking in the cold rain or in heavy snow, or it can be dangerous, especially if you have kids. Bugging out really only works best when you know your destination. If you don't have anywhere to go, you're just a refugee. So let's plan for multiple destinations, a primary, a secondary, and even a third bug out location, whether it be a family farm, whether it be a campground. Depending on the situation, have those backups in hand. Have a place to go so you're not that refugee. Keep your bug out bag. Keep it handy. 72-hour essentials. Have a transport plan. What kind of vehicle are you going to use? Are you going to go on foot? Do you know how to get there? Make that plan early. That way you know what's going on. Not only know the route, practice the route. Drive it. Hike it if it's close by. See if you can make it on foot with your bug out bag, just in case you can't bug out using a vehicle, a side-by-side, a bicycle, or what have you. Know you can get there with what you have on your back, not just with what's in your vehicle. Because who knows, you may be snowed in, you can't get out, but you have to go. So you're going to have to go on foot, right? Think about that. I mean, every year, it never fails to here at my house, we could have 2 inches of snow, but we get snowed in just because of the way our geography is here, because it's all open to the north from our house, and it drifts up really bad in the house. If I had to, I couldn't get out with my vehicles. They'd get stuck in my driveway. So that's something to plan for, something to think about. Now let's look at bugging in. Bugging in or sheltering in place means you're staying at home and making your home your fortress. This is usually the default in most crises. You ask yourself, why would I need to bug in instead of bugging out? Most emergencies are short-term. Snowstorms, blackouts, supply chain hiccups, things like that. You're better off staying home. You have by far more supplies than what you could carry at your house. As long as your preps are in order, your food storage is in order, you can't carry more food than what you can store at your home. You know your neighborhood, you know your home layout, you know your area, so you can fortify better. You know where the threat's going to come from, or have a good idea at least what the average person would think, so you can fortify better. What are the challenges of bugging in? Well, if your area becomes unsafe because of riots, because of contamination, because of structural damage, you know, what happens if you're in a wildfire, things like that, you're gonna have to bug out. There's no other option. If you don't bug out with situations like this, you could become trapped. Utilities can fail. Think about no heat in the winter, no air conditioning in the summer, And what if there's no water from the tap? If you don't have any stored, you're gonna have to go out and at least find some. Bugging in feels easier until you realize that you're on your own for security, for power, and water. What do you do when those disappear? Let's look at some tips for bugging in. Water, 1 gallon per person per day, more if you can. Food, focus on shelf-stable, easy to prepare meals. Alternative heat and cooking, wood stoves, propane burners, or solar cookers. Learn how to use those, have those on hand. Know how to use them before the time they're needed. Security, how are you building up to protect your home? Reinforced doors, windows. Security, how are you preparing your home or your homestead or wherever you're at? Reinforced doors, windows, and have a layered defense for your home, whether it be with pew-pews, whether it be with things like the burner launcher, things like that to prevent people from taking what's yours. How about community? I'll actually be doing a full video on building your community because I believe that is probably the most important. Because you can't do it all by yourself, as I've said in a previous video. Know the people in your area, know your next door neighbors. My nearest neighbor is about 3/4 of a mile away, but I'm on good relationship terms. We trade, trade vegetables, we trade meat, things like that, and just kind of help each other out if they need help. But build your community, because without them, you're not going to survive. How do you decide which is better? In reality, they are both better, depending on the given circumstance. Things to consider: what is the threat type? Is it a wildfire? You'll bug out for that. A pandemic, which chances are, if you're watching this, you lived through one, you bug in. What about a chemical spill, or like I have a refinery near my home, I don't know, 10, 15 miles away? What do you do then? You get out fast. And what if you're in the middle of a blizzard? Well, it's common sense. You stay home. Look at the timing. Do you have time to get out before everybody else does? Because if you don't, chances are you're going to be stuck in traffic or gridlock or something like that. And most importantly, you'll want to, if you decide to bug out, you'll want to leave before the panic sets in with everywhere else. That's why you need to pay attention to what's going on in the world around you. Locally, state, federally, pay attention. Know what's going on. Where's your location? Are you in a rural area? Are you in an urban area? Are you in the suburbs? Rural homes may be safer to bug in. Urban centers, they may demand that you bug out. If there's a supply chain shortage where the food supply is getting low, you need to go. If there's an incident that happens, economic collapse, I'm thinking worst case scenario here. Chances are that's not going to happen. I mean, we'll see. It's a possibility. Food starts getting tight, money's gone. What are you going to do? Are you going to bug out, or are you going to stay here? Let's talk about your family health and mobility. Do you have small kids? Are you taking care of your elderly parents? What is their mobility like? How are they going to get around? And the biggest question to ask yourself on that, can they handle a safe travel? If you got to bug out on foot, is your 80-year-old mom going to be able to go with you? Things like that you have to think about. And lastly, let's look at your resources. Do you have the supplies to make a stand at home? And do you have the gear to survive on the move? Which one's better? Preparedness mindset means you plan for both. Plan A should be bugging in. Plan B should be bugging out for when Plan A fails. Let's look at some real-world case studies. In 2017, when Hurricane Harvey hit, families who evacuated early avoided the traffic and flooded highways, whereas families that didn't were trapped. In the 2021 Texas freeze, families who had the necessary supplies, heat, water, they survived comfortably. Those who didn't have the proper preps struggled to survive in shelters. In the California wildfires, just recently last year, Evacuation orders gave hours of notice. Those people who were ready to bug out made it. Those who weren't lost everything. Those examples prove that flexibility is survival. You don't get to pick the disaster, but you do get to prepare for all outcomes. So should you bug in or should you bug out? The answer is both. Prepare your home as if you'll shelter in place, but also have your bag, your routes, your plan ready to go in case you need it. Preparedness isn't about being right. It's about being ready no matter what. Thank you guys again for watching. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, help the channel grow. Share this with somebody who may be starting their own preparedness journey. They may see the world going on around them and things are going crazy. Help them out. Share this information with them so they can get started down the path of being prepared and staying condition ready. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next one.